Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of Mark's Gospel. We're in this quite long chapter, and very moving, chapter 14, and we're up to verse 63. And the chief priests, diarexas, this is from diaregnumi, the aorist participle, having torn asunder, having torn in two, to get that dia there, having torn asunder, ragnumi is to break, diaragnumi is to break through, or to break into two. So having rendered or torn his garments, his chitones, his garments, he says, what further need do we have of witnesses? You have heard the blasphemy. What does it seem to you? And they all condemned him to be enokos. This is guilty of or deserving of. Enokos is the standard word for being guilty in classical Greek, so he is worthy of or guilty of the death penalty, of death. And certain ones began emptuane. Ptuo is to strike with a rod, so to beat him, and it's taking a dative. It's almost to lay into him with a rod. It's the dative here, and to cover his face. Kai kolophisdane. The kolophisdane is an interesting word. It's a post-classical word. So it means to beat or strike or harass, so to beat him and to say to him, prophesy. This is an aorist imperative here. And his servants, the servants beat him, raptismasi. Well, literally, it's not really beat, it's sort of to take, they take him with blows. It's not very good Greek using elebon here, but it may be answering to a possible Latinism, verboribus acipere. So acipere is often used in they often use el lambano to translate this acipere idiom that's in Latin. So the servants literally took him with blows, so well, we might just say struck him to get it into English. This is the dative plural here, from raptisma, from rapto, to strike. So perhaps applied blows to him or something to try and get the elebon. And genitive absolute, and Peter being kato, well, below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls, because we know it's girls because Mia is feminine, one of the servant girls of the high priest comes, and having seen Peter warming himself, this is this middle again, participle, emblepsasa, having looked at him, it's taking a dative here from emblepo, emblepsasa, auto, having looking carefully at him, says, you were, this is aista, imperfect from Amy. This is one of the forms of the second person singular. There are several in the New Testament. You also see ace. You were meta with the Nazarene Jesus. And he denied it, saying, this is from aneomai, to deny. He denied it, saying, neither do I know, nor do I understand what you are saying. So it's almost, I've got no idea what you're talking about. And he went out into the proaulion. This is the area outside of the court, and in square brackets here, it's a doubtful reading, and the cock crew. The cock crowed, probably is better past tense of the verb. So the cock crowed, and the servant girl, the paidiske, having seen him, she began to say again to those standing beside them, hoti recitative, this is one of them. This man is one of them. And he again denied it. Now this is the imperfect now from Nehemiah. So it's not just denied it once, but he continually to deny it. It's not the aorist we had up here, but the imperfect. So he continued to deny it, and after a little while again, those standing around were saying to Peter, "Truly you are one of them, for you are a Galilean." But he began anathematizdain. Well, to anathematize, so it's almost to swear, to curse. An anathema was originally an offering to idols, and then an anathema becomes a curse, because that which is given to idols is cursed, and then from that they formed this verb anathematizdo, to curse. So he began to curse and to swear, hoti recitative, "I do not know this man whom you are speaking, understand of." And immediately, ex deuteri, for a second time, the cock crowed, well, made a noise, literally, called out, literally, so we'd say crowed, and Peter remembered the word that Jesus said to him, that before the cock makes a noise, crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. This is from Ap Nehemiah, and this is the future middle here. So you will deny me 3 times, second person singular. And Embalone, literally casting himself, the meaning here is uncertain, possibly throwing himself on the ground rather than rushing outside, but throwing himself on the ground, he began to weep. Others translate it as something like he broke down. Having broken down, he wept. It's probably more likely, it's a very vague word, but typical of Mark, and probably having thrown himself down to the ground, he began to weep, imperfect. And that's the end of chapter 14.